Overextensions, whipsaws, and mean reversions. That's more or less the story of the market in here today. Everybody was riding the high from the Micron earnings that happened last night. Nice little pop in the overall markets in here. 9:30 hit. Everybody said, see ya. We're taking our profits. Little V-shaped recovery in here, and then basically more or less stayed range bound the rest of the day with the volatility still more or less staying there. So we're going to see what happens as we open up tomorrow in the overall markets. I know we had that little pop in here after hours just slightly. So we're going to see what kind of action we get as we go into overnight hours, and then how pre-market acts, and then we're going to see how that is going to dictate everything for our 9:30 open tomorrow. So we finally have a full week of trading in here, and more or less ASTS, that's what we're looking at here on the weekly chart. We finally get a full week in here of I guess 5 days of trading sessions in here. And what do we get gifted with? Well, we get we're starting at basically we opened at the 80s and we're down here in the mid 60s. That was our president here for the full week of trading sessions. So we're going to see if we can get back into this overall structure. You can see on the weekly chart in here, 68.21 was breached today. We closed below it. That's going to be our first resistance. We need to hit that and then get back in this inside of this overall structure on this lower trend line. Anything above there, we're going to be focusing on that 50-day SMA. That was key for us to break this week because that is not looking good for us. We thought we were going to get saved by this lower trend line. Again, we're trying to have to see maybe this psych level of 65 could be a place that we could set up shop, but we're going to have to wait and see. But anyway, that 50-day SMA sitting at 75, that is going to be a key level for it to climb back above. And then we can worry about that 80s, about 83 level, because that's where all your support and resistance was in the past. You can see right here through the middle of this overall chart. Now to the downside in here, let's say we go up, bang our head on that 68, have to come back down. Well, then obviously we're looking at $60, and then we're looking at that $50 handle. That's more or less kind of all we have to look forward here to on the downside, right? So what we really need, we want to see a pop in here, a nice close next up or next to this overall structure, this lower trend line 68 right around in there. We will take that. Then we're going to see what happens next week. But if we're going to be down here in these low 60s, it's not looking good. 60 is going to be our next support. If that breaks, obviously we're going to be heading down to around that $50 level. We're going to take a look at Apple in here as well. This is a stock that has intraday a lot of volatility in the past. You can see a few weeks in here with just red just taken out. I mean, that's what you get when you have about 12 green weeks in here or in a row. I mean, ever since March, more or less just shooting straight up in here overall. And then obviously off the top of this overall structure in here, a slight pullback coming in at the beginning of June. And then obviously that second week just ripping down, consolidation in here. And then obviously again today you had that big pullback in here. We were trading just below 300 for a long time. Every time that this thing pulled back, it was getting eaten right up. If you looked at your chart, I even just looked at like a line chart in here just from 2 days ago. This thing was going up and down and up and down and up and down. It was crazy action in here. Now finally the put buyers, or I guess the sellers in here, came in and said, guess what, we're taking it, we're taking all our profits just like we're doing everywhere else. 275 in here was the close in here today. So we're going to see what type of pop we get. 280 is going to be our next level. We're keeping an eye on here. So keep an eye on how this thing reacts after hours and as we go into overnight. But 280 is going to be the level in here that we do need to watch. Anything outside of there, obviously 275 flat, that's where we're going to be. I mean, we're about 15 cents off of it right now, but anything below that, it is going to be this overall structure right here. And that's going to be right at that 265, 264 area. So this whole channel in here, you got about $3 channel in here. That is going to be key. Outside of that, it's going to be this 50-day SMA. But hopefully we can kind of consolidate in here somewhere in this 275, 280 range. And then we can worry about kind of climbing back in this overall structure. But if this thing does need to come back down here and fully reset this RSI, you can see we basically went from overbought to neutral in about a couple weeks in here. If we do need to fully reset all of those key oscillators and things like that, obviously we need to come back down and touch this overall structure, but the lower trend line of the overall structure in here, which is going to be right around that 265. So that is what we're looking at in here in ASTS, and then obviously Apple. So more or less, it's not great in here, but at the same time, we like the volatility, we like the action. So let's see how we can take it to our advantage. And overall, it looks like both of these stocks do need more of a pullback in here, and then we can get that push. But if not, if we're going to hold at the levels where we are, ASTS being 65, and we're going to stay right there, Apple staying right around this 275, 280, 270 area, then that works too. And we'll take it and we'll just kind of ride it out in here just to fully reset everything. We don't want to fully reset everything quick because, again, the moral of the story in here, overextensions, whipsaws, and then mean reversions, right? So that's what we want when we want the volatility to come in, but we also don't want that because we can just lose as much money as we can make as well. So let's take all this into our advantage and be on the right side in here of these moves and see what happens in here as we close out this full week and then set up for our 4th of July shortened week next week. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.